BeatStars talk about that new black power. Did it all start with a little white powder? From the 80s age of the cocaine, now we on a different page in a different campaign. What is all this talk that be coming from the stars? It was late at night when I saw one pause. What up, awesome avatars? Back again with season 2, New Beginnings, episode 2. This one's gonna be called The New Atlantis. Now you might wonder, why are we talking about Atlantis? Why is this so important? I thought that was a myth. Yeah, you know. If you guys know, I've been talking about Atlantis a lot. My last single I dropped was called Black Power. Talked about a lot of astral projections I did that made me feel like, wow, like I'm one with the old world, the old America. I'll get into that. So a lot of these references come from a book called Philos the Tibetan. And in this book, it's very awesome because, first of all, the writer Frederick, he was around 1876 when he wrote this book, right? It wasn't published till 1890 or something like that. You know, back in those days, you know for a fact they didn't have technology, they didn't have information about science the way we do today. So for him to come out and say the things he has in this book is very high vibration. I'm almost done with book number 1 about Atlantis. I'm going into how Philos became an ascended master in Mount Shasta. But the reason why this is important and why I call this the America, the old Atlantis, the new Atlantis, is because America is Atlantis, basically. And the reason why it's important to know about these journeys in the past is because it really breaks down ultimately what happens to our bodies, you know, the bodies of the afterlife, the bodies of spiritual journeys. And in today's society, when they speak about those things, they honestly like shun it down like it's demonic or it's evil, you know. But we're in this new world, right? You are awesome avatars. We're here today, and shit, we're gonna do what we did in the last episode, right? We're gonna bring in that abundance and let out the happiness. Why is it important to bring in abundance and let out a happiness? Well, it's simple fact. It's energy. It's vibration. It's frequency. It's internal unfed light, unfed fire. It is all the elements. Fire, water. Actually, no. Let me put that. I'm gonna do that shit in chronological order type shit. You feel me? All right. Fire, air, earth, then water. Why is that important? Well, fire always brings life. Water puts it back to the ether or astral, whatever you want to call it, right? So in this book, Philos the Tibetan, it breaks down the journey of a man named Xylem, right? Xylem was a man who, or a boy, who was, his journey was not to be ascended. Now, we have to understand that in Atlantis, as we all know, what is ancient aliens and archaeologists talk about Atlantis, their advanced civilization. In this book, yo, I'm dead ass. Like, it literally breaks down like you're living in Atlantis. You can't make it up. Like, it's old English. Like, it's so difficult for you to make things up. And the stuff that Frederick was writing, he is the narrator of this book. He was the one who getting the information downloaded through him, through Xylem, Philos. I'll break that down, what that means about him having multiple lives in order for his ascension process for us today. So in that time, Xylem, this book starts off with him being a average Joe in Atlantis. His parents are a little poor. They didn't have the vibrations like they did in the palaces and the pyramids, because back in the day, you have to remember, the pyramids was still charged. Palaces were going crazy. If you look at ancient Hinduism, there's a lot of divine creatures. I'm talking about that time, people. I'm talking about that time, quote unquote, before Noah's flood, when there was a bunch of divine beings here, until, like you guys know, I don't know if you guys are into spirituality or anything, or knowing about the truth, but the Anunnakis, right? That's how, before all that breakdown, that was Atlantis, and that's how we are Atlantis. In this book, it literally says that America is the new Atlantis, because all the technology, all this spiritual awakening, even when it comes to politics, like literally politics, like it had politics back then, like it's crazy. You had to pay taxes in Atlantis, but the taxes you paid was only like 2%. Like it was honestly fair as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You literally could do anything you want. Now, Let's bring in that abundance and let go of that happiness. Awesome avatars, I'm here to break down about Atlantis. This is the new America, the old America, the new Atlantis, whatever you want to call it. We are here today to talk about our ancestors, our brothers and sisters from as above, so below. You know, Atlanteans, if you look at the race about Iberians, Iberians' ancestors are Atlanteans. Guess what Iberians' descendants are? They're Hawaiian, they're Filipino, they're Puerto Rican, they're Cuban, they're all the new indigenous African. They're a bunch of people that came from Iberia whose ancestors were Atlanteans. Nobody speaks about that, but I will tell you today that it's important to know our ancestral history, because rather than trying to become the new advanced technology, that's not our journey, people. We don't need to have advanced technology. We did that already. In this book, it literally says our enlightenment, our journey to awakening is literally us breaking away from all this physical materialistic form. So I'm gonna catch you up to where I'm at in this book, right? So Xylem is this character that is spoke about, right? It's super cool. He literally gets chosen by the Rai. The Rai back in Atlantis was like how you consider a Buddha or like a Osiris type shit. You feel me? The Rai back then, his name was Guaxlin the Rai. The reason why he was chosen is because he was internally, his heart was in a good place. You feel me? His energy was right to the point where he can levitate. All these things happen only because he had a good heart. You can't do this without a good heart. You need to have a good heart, good soul, good mind. And this was happening in Atlantis. And if you look nowadays at Hinduism and all this stuff, people are levitating, but they can't do that shit without having a good heart. You know, in America, we don't get taught that shit. We're always like, oh, well, that's just what they do. But ultimately, if you know, there's only one consciousness. So at that time, everything was happening. There was levitating pyramids, there was levitating palaces. There was a lot of beautiful divine things because they were working with the nature. They were working with the they would call the sun, they would rise vibrations of the sun and call it Encall. Okay? And it's so funny, in Atlantis they call it Encall. Look at the Mayans, right? What do they call the Incas? It's really interesting, right? Also at night, you know, Encall was the masculine divine masculine. At nighttime, they had night energy. They also understood how the science behind night was formed. And they also gave a name to that night. It was called Navas. Navas was the goddess of the night. So it was like this internal flow of yin and yang, you know, this yin and yang, you know what I'm saying? Tattoos are very like sacred. When you tat something on your body, you're gonna be that thing the rest of your life. A lot of people don't know that. And I honestly just recently realized that, and I'm grateful that I was aware of that, because if I had like, you know, like, let me get a lot of money, or like I'm so materialistic on my body, guess what? I will be that person. Now, awesome avatars, you know what I'm gonna do. Let's bring in that abundance and let out the happiness. Why? Because we are on a journey together, and today's subject is talking about the new Atlantis, right? Which is America. In America, we are always trying to strive to be the great. Guess what? In Atlantis times, that was the world power. Guess what America is nowadays? The world power. We are the new Atlantis. I don't care what nobody says, all right? You could talk about all the stuff of spirituality and shit. That was happening then, but it was normal. Did you know in Atlantis, you can go to school to learn magic? What do they do now about magic? It's like evil, it's demonic, right? But you have to realize this, awesome avatars, that was only access if you had divine energy. If you look at our world today with quarantine and lockdown and just corona, COVID, like, what is it making people do? People are inside their house. They're afraid to go outside. They're afraid that, oh my gosh, the virus is coming, they're gonna kill me, you know? Guess what that is, people? That's fear. Guess what fear? If you put, I don't know if I'll break that down in the video, there's literally energies on Earth, okay? The lowest level of energy is fear and doubt. Guess what the government and all the people who are implementing the vaccination and shit trying to do to you? They're trying to put fear in your body. So boom, back to Atlantis. Xylem was chosen because in the book it breaks down he lived by a gold mine, a volcano. This is 200 years prior to the fall of Atlantis. So he found gold in this mine, and He didn't die. He was supposed to die because the volcano blew up. It was like that story of like, if you ever read the Bible, I don't know if you ever read the Bible, I don't know if, I'm not saying, I'm not really into, I'm not biblical, you know, I'm everything. I'm not saying I'm religious or none of that, but I know a lot about it because I just do, you know, my consciousness is that high vibration. But if you know about the whole story about like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, if I'm saying it right, they were in this fire and they're able to like be saved by the fire because an angel came to them, right? Gabriel or Michael, whatever, I don't know which one was. But anyways, whatever it was, same thing happened to Xylem. He was in this volcano, boom, like it blew up, like it just like about to die type shit. But he ended up getting the gold and he got out of there, right? I was like, they were like, wow, how is that even possible? My bad. I was like, I didn't know if that was a bee or a fly. I'm not afraid of bees or flies. It's just, you know, gotta be aware because I don't know, you don't know what's about to happen. Feel me? Anyways, back to this. Look at me. I'm in nature. Vibrations are high. Energy is high. The birds are singing. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring in that abundance and let out the happiness. Awesome avatars, we're here today to talk about Atlantis. Boom. So Xylem, he was chosen because back in the day, the powers of the Rai was the Sons of Solitude. So Sons of Solitude would break down like Jesus Christ was the Son of Solitude. Buddha was the Son of Solitude. Bob Marley was the Son of Solitude. Anybody that was trying to raise vibration was like, that was what Atlantis was considered. I'm not saying that's what it is nowadays, but that's what they called it, the Sons of Solitude, Daughters of Solitude, because they were already in solidity and they were already divine order. They were already one with the astral plane and the spirit plane. Boom, back to Xylem, right? Xylem, Rai, the Rai, Guaxin, right? He was able to remote view, right? A remote view is like bilocating. Look it up. Hindus do it all the time. They're able to like go in meditation position, right? All that type shit, right? And they're able to like bilocate to another part of the earth plane because their energy is right. Boom, right? So as the Rai, you know what's so beautiful about Atlantis? You think because he's a king, it's masculine energy. No. In order for the Rai to have any type of answer, if he want, or not answer, but if he wanted to do anything at all, he had to go through the 7 wise women. And this is why this Atlantean time was very, very matriarchal, not patriarchal. This is a time where it was very matriarchal, people. Okay, what does matriarchal mean, people? Okay, women, queens were running the world. And at that point in time, of course, that's way better than what we have today. Masculine energy is all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to be linear and shit. That's not the way. We're supposed to be in a feminine vibration, people. You get me? Boom. And I mean, you know, you can have a woman be masculine, divine. I mean, not divine, sorry. A woman can be very masculine, okay? I'm not talking about the physique of the body. I'm talking about energy here. There's feminine energy and masculine energy. Back then, it was super feminine. Even though Guaxin and the Rai, he was a male, in order for him to get anything across, he needed to go through the 7 wise women. And if the 7 wise women accepts what he feels, guess what, people? He can do it. And it's so interesting. I live right here in the beautiful land of San Diego, and Native Americans, even the Hopi tribes, talked about a time, or no, you know what, not even a time, they still do it to this fucking day, yo. It's crazy. They literally, the chiefs of the tribe of the Native Americans cannot go through what they want to do without the women accepting what they do. And guess who was the most important thing to them, that was so important to them back then? I mean, to this day, it's the same concept of Atlantis. Children. Children meant the most to them. Guess how it is today in this society? You know, it's the opposite. Males are first, then it's the women, then it's the children. Nobody gives a shit about the children. Look what's happening in quarantine. All the children can't go to school. What kind of shit is that? Like, they're literally trying to take your energy, people. I'm here. I'm an awesome avatar. You're an awesome avatar. So like, let's bring in that high vibration one time, okay? Because that was a lot of information. It was crazy. I know. But let's bring in that abundance real quick. Bring in abundance. And let out the happiness, because we are positive energy. We are charging at high vibrations, and we're talking about Atlantis here because this is what this is about. We are the new Atlantis. We're going back, and we're gonna get out of this crazy programming and go back to nature. Nature, people. You know, every day I try to do, I wake up and I try to breathe in that nature, that prana energy. You feel me? Okay, boom. Now Xylem was chosen because the Rai was able to bilocate and see that he did a good deed by finding the gold, right? And he had friends that were trying to deceive him. It's like, oh, we should just take the gold and use it for ourselves. Now back then in Atlantis, you couldn't get away with fuck shit. You couldn't get away with the fuck shit. Why? Because the Rai was able to buy, he can see everything you do. it was like what we would call a god, but they weren't gods. They were just high vibrational beings that were one with God. But there was like, imagine if Donald Trump was a Rai, okay? Okay, it's funny, it's hilarious. Like, yo, what are you talking about? Donald Trump's a Rai. No, I'm not saying Donald Trump's a Rai. I'm just saying, like, if it was that time, Rai Guaxlin would be considered a Donald Trump. So everybody would be looking at him. They even had technology back then. Of course, you know this. And in this book, they called say you had the internet back then was called NAME. N-A-I-M. Name. Yeah, name. And that was something you can FaceTime. This is real shit. Like, and you know what's so funny? This book's been around over 100 years and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. So you know it has some type of facts, yo. And it was written by a guy who was around church. There's a lot of like church terminologies in this book because that was the life he was living, right? You know it's not bullshit when some guy who's just getting he was just getting downloaded. His name is Frederick, the guy who wrote this. His parents thought he was crazy because like he would always talk to himself and he would always be by himself trying to write these informations. That was Xylem downloading his information, and this book breaks down why Xylem has to come here, aka Phylos, to share this vibration with us because he knows how important our shift to higher vibration is going to be. Today is the time. Today is now. Now backwards is what? One. Guess what we are? We are one. And guess what we're about to do? We're gonna win. Guess what win is? It's we won. One, now, backwards, boom. Okay, Xylem, boom. Back to Xylem. So in this journey, he's going to the palace. There's this thing called the Valix. It was like a hovering, it was like an airplane, but it was a hovering it was like a hovering car. There was no cars back then. Everything was hovering because they were one with the magnetic force. They already knew about technology, yo. They knew that nature gave us technology. If you know this, then you know this, that crystals literally charge all of the technology we have today. Quartz crystals are in everything we have. Everything. So in Atlantis, they were doing that times gazillion, sextillion. They were already in that vibration. That's why you see a lot of hieroglyphs of like flying aircrafts. You see beings being like bird beings. All that shit was happening in Atlantis, yo. But we were in divine order before the reptilians and Anunnakis over here taking control of it. That's a different video. But you know about the Anunnakis, reptilians, and all that stuff. That's stuff that I don't want to talk about right now. We're talking about Atlantis, right? So Xylem, boom. He went to the palace. He had this journey of awakening. He's like, wow, I came from an average Joe. Now I'm in the palace of the Rai. And when he was going up the elevator, he would see magicians making things out of their mind. Bro, that's how powerful it was back then, yo. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it's amazing. And if you look nowadays of that evidence, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. All cultures talk about this, but they don't go into depth details as it being part of our society. In this book, what I love about this book, it literally says that we are the new Atlantis. America came from Atlantis. Okay? If you want to know the facts behind that shit, I will tell you the facts behind that shit, right? Christopher Columbus, right? Before he found America, which he didn't find America because there were still natives here, right? He got lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Below the Bermuda Triangle, what ocean is the Bermuda Triangle? The Atlantic Ocean. So what is Atlantic? Atlantis. All right. Guess where Phylos was talking about the capital of Atlantis was? Cathel. It's literally off the shore of the South Carolinas. Guess what is off the shore of the South Carolinas? Bermuda Triangle. It was a vortex. And if you go below that ocean, guess what they found? Archaeologists, oceanologists found a crystals pyramids down there. When they get close to that shit, they can get close to it. Why? Because their technology cuts. Why? Because we are Atlantis. That is a high vibrational technology that they had back then that our technology can't even withstand. It can't even go near it because it shuts down. And you know, you can't shut down if you're going depth in the ocean or you're gonna suffocate. So you can understand the protection barrier that it still has to this day. To this day, right? So Xylem's going through this journey. He's meeting a princess, the Sons of Solitude, blah, 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 right? Boom. He gets to this turmoil where he dies. If you want to read more about that, I won't get too much depth in that because I don't want to spoil everything. But it's crazy. He goes through all this. He's supposed to marry the Sons of the Solitude, Anzame, and she's the princess of Manax. Manax is the father, and he was very divine. But Manon was like a Jafar in Aladdin. You feel me? He was like an evil fucking priest. You feel me? And he was with the Rai Guaxlin, but he was like the Rai Guaxlin would be considered like the genie in Aladdin, right? Okay, because I'm dead ass, like that. There was magic back then, so it was low key. The story of Aladdin came from Atlantis. Atlantis. Fuck, I just blew my mind right there. Whoa, that's crazy. Anyways, When Xylem died, he breaks down in this book what it means to be in the life of that after death, right? And it's very amazing how he breaks it down, because he like I said, he's an average Joe. He died. He doesn't know he doesn't know how it is to be alive. Like, he saw his physical body right there. You know, I'm gonna tell you like the story of how he died just to get to that point. I won't tell you like prior to that because I don't want to spoil it. But basically, you know, he was he took the name, which is an iPhone back then, or like a laptop. He left the palace. He wanted to retreat and do a little retreat by himself and find himself, because he did some fuck shit to this one girl in Atlantis. It was crazy. Like, I'm like, yo, like, they're just like us. They fuck up and they learn from themselves, right? They're not perfect. But anyways, boom. So Xylem goes and he tries to find himself, and he takes the Valix, which is the hovering thing. He takes this. At this time, he's already a millionaire. He's basically whatever value is back then. Let's breathe in real quick. Like, can we just breathe in real quick? Let's breathe in, because that's a lot of information. I know you guys are like, what the hell? Like, what in the heavens? Whatever you want to call it. Like, yes, let's bring in that abundance one more time, please. Awesome avatars. Let's exhale all that happiness, right? Back to what I was saying. So he died. Boom. The reason why he died, he got locked in a cabin in a cave. His dumbass, I don't know why he did that. You know, I'll tell you why he did it. Because this evil priest named Manin, sorry. Maxon Stone is like the Infinity Stone in Avengers, right? They had these are 3 M's in the book. I'm trying to like not mess up. Oh, before I go into that, I want to show you guys my Oregon Star Wars spacecraft and my emerald green crystal real quick, because it reminds me of Atlantis. So I'm gonna be right back. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is an Oregon Falcon from Star Wars. It's pretty cool. But these Oregon, what it does, it has composites of all types of minerals that charge your Oregon energy. Everybody has Oregon energy. It's invisible energy that you have that can balance out your alpha waves or your meta waves, right? Ultimately, you want to master your meta waves. I'm sorry. Beta waves, sorry. Is it? Yeah, beta waves, right? Yeah, beta, because alpha is when you're thinking too much. Beta, if I'm getting it wrong, I think it's beta waves. It makes you go into a meditative semi-conscious state of being. And then this is a emerald crystal. If you can see in the light, it's very green. And for my sign, it brings abundance and it brings love, and the green really charges my energy. But anyways, back to Xylem. So when he was going to this cabin, this is still in his physical form, right? Boom, he gets stuck into this cabin, and he's asking and calls. He's asking the Rye. He's like, yo, the Rye, can you come and save me? I can't get out of this cabin. I locked myself in. He left his name, quote unquote, iPhone with his horse and the Valix with his friends 100 miles out, because I don't know what led him. Curiosity led him to this cabin. Like, yo, what are you doing? When I was reading this, I was really upset. I was like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, go back to the palace. What the fuck? Like, go ascend with Anzame, who is the Sons of Solitude. I'm going crazy. Like, it's a movie type shit. You feel me? I think I'm gonna write a movie. I'm gonna direct a movie about this shit. It's crazy. Follow us to bed. Dope book. Anyways, so he gets stuck inside this cabin. He can't get out. 7 days go by. He knows it's 7 days because the sun goes up and down, the light goes up and down. Boom. He's asking for forgiveness. He's asking and call, yo, why can't you do this for me? Why aren't you here for me? Type shit, you know? And guess what? The evil priest comes to him in spirit form and says, the reason why you're here is because I led you here. He basically, the whole story about the Manin was he wanted to destroy Xylem because he was jealous of him. The fact that the Rye put him up to a high pedestal and not him. It's a story. I'm telling you, it's literally the story of Aladdin. It's crazy. And so boom. So a Manin like came through, and he told him in spirit form, because Manin's able to bilocate like the Rye. Okay, so he from the palace he bilocated to Xylem, and Xylem was like, damn, like, Manin, what are you doing here? He was like, well, I'm the reason why you're here. I'm actually the Lord of the Underworld. When I read that, I was like, oh shit, bro, like, this is going down. And this Xylem's starving, he's thirsty. He even says, like, one thou knows the hunger, but one will never know how the pain it feels to be thirsty. He was thirsty for about, now it's like the 14th day. He's like, dude, I'm gonna die. How am I gonna get out of this cabin? He doesn't have no tools. He left his tools in his name, quote unquote, iPhone, to contact Anzame the princess and Guaxlin the Rai and Atlantis, and his meditations ain't working to tap in, because back then, like I said, you're tapped into the astral realm, so you can meditate and literally use invisible Wi-Fi with someone if you're that close to them. And that's what we're trying to get to now in this world. If you realize a lot of indigo children are trying to do that, it's because that's what they did in Atlantis. Like, it was like 1 2 3, you feel me? That's why that's why I'm calling this the new Atlantis, yo. You have to understand, this book is amazing, and there's a lot of references saying it's facts. The continents, the demographs, the geography of how they break things down. If you go on Google and see all these things, like the East Indies, the West Indies, Egypt, and all Maya, dude, it's literally exactly what's happening now. It's the same coordinates. It's violent. They even talked about a time when a lot of continents rose above the ocean, like underground oceans, underground cities, I mean, they were up. So boom, Xylem was trying to tap in. The Manning guy, the Jafar guy, was like talking shit on him while he was like choking to death, like, you know, not choking, but like thirst to death. And he was like, you think that, he, quote unquote from the book, he told Xylem, the evil priest, he was like, you think that you came here by yourself? He was like, dude, I brought you here. I'm the lord of the underworld. I'm the demon of all everything, right? And Xylem, the whole time in Atlantis, he was like, damn, how did I not catch that? Of course he is. And he was just getting away. His spirit form was just laughing, like, ha ha ha, like, you're so stupid. Like, you believe in Call, like some god named Call. You believe in Osiris, some god. This is literally dead ass in the book, bro. Like, he talked about Osiris. Like, he said like Osiris was like some god. It was crazy. And he said, oh, you believe in Yahovah, like Jehovah, like in the book, it was talking about how that god was the god of the Indies. It's crazy, bro. It goes into hella deep information that like explains our history, right? And then boom, Xylem was like, yo, like, how am I gonna get out of this? Like, this evil spirit priest is here, like, putting me into death. And out of nowhere, it's so cool, a light being came in the cabin, like, out of nowhere, like, boom. Like, imagine, like, the sun in a form, a human form, right in front of both of them. Manon was scared as fuck. He was mouth dropped, like, is this Call? Like, because Xylem was calling for Call. In Atlantis, they praised Call. So they're like, Call, you're here to save me, Call. Thank you so much, Call. And Manon was like, Call never goes into human form. What the heck? He's like, how does he know I'm here? He said that he deceived the Sons of Solitude, all this crazy shit. And guess who that light being was, yo? It was Christ. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. He was like, yo, he was like, listen, Manon, I knew we were fucking up. I knew that yo shit. I know that you were trying to fool the gods of Sons of Solitude, but we didn't say anything to you because we know karma is more powerful than anything on earth. We know that when you do bad, magnetic force is gonna pull that to you. You attract, law of attraction. You attract what you are. And that's what he told Manon. And Manon was like, well, I mean, and the thing is, Jesus Christ was like, he was like, I know that one thing, it's bad to be like, you know, accidentally bad, like you don't know anything. But he told Manon, you literally knew about wisdom, and you knew who I was. You knew about my father Call. You knew about everything, but you still yet did it off evil. So you're gonna die. Like, he literally was like, you, after this speech, you're gonna vanish, and you're trying to kill like one of a divine civilian from Atlantis, Xylem. And Xylem's literally watching all this. He's just like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck? Like, he's so overwhelmed, right? And then boom, like, Jesus Christ was like, okay, internal ring of fire. So like literally, Manon literally got burned with the ring of fire. Like literally, like, I'm sorry, it's like, oof, I don't know what was on down there. He got burned in the ring of fire, like, and just disintegrated. His spirit body disintegrated. Crazy, right? And then when he died, Xylem, like, almost like how Moses, like the whole story of how like the bushfire, he had to hide his face. Xylem did that shit. He hid his face, and then boom, guess what? Like, Christ, quote unquote, Jesus Christ, that's what they called him. He was like, or Yahovah, not Yahovah, but Yahshua, whatever you perceive. I'm not, whatever y'all, you know what? Let's bring it back in. Let's breathe into that abundance and let out the happiness. Awesome avatars, I'm here to talk about Atlantis, because Atlantis is the new America, and I feel like it is, and we're going back to our high vibration, and I'm talking about it. Boom, let's keep going. So, boom, Jesus Christ tells Xylem, like, yo, listen, G, I'm not gonna kill you, bro. I'm not gonna kill you. Like, you already repented. You did what you had to do. Like, you're at this point. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to, like, forgive you for whatever wrong he did. And if you guys wanna know what happened to him, you gotta read this book. It's crazy, yo. I'm not gonna spoil nothing. Awesome avatars, thank you so much for coming through, learning about Atlantis and all the things about this book called Phyllis Tibetan. Get it right now. It's on Amazon or anywhere on the internet before it runs out. Please get it really soon. It's very, very high vibrational book. And again, Awesome Avatars, let's breathe in that high vibration and let out that happiness. One more time. Bring in the abundance. Let out happiness. My name is SoNiceAvatar. This is Nice Conversations Season 2. You know, I titled this one New Beginnings because it's a new beginning, people. It's a new world. We're in a new life. Things are changing. People are expressing themselves. We're in a new plane of existence, and we're all in this shift together. So that being said, I'm gonna end this video because I don't want it to be too long. I know you guys are probably like, man, this guy's talking about Atlantis a lot, but you understand when you really tap into that deeper energy, you're gonna realize like, wow, like we are Atlanteans. We are the higher beings that we are, and we can let go of all Earth's desires if we choose to, but yet still love everything. All right, my name is SoNice, and this is Nice Conversation Season 2, the new beginnings, and this was the new Atlantis, and I hope you all have the rest of your day. Peace, love, and happiness. Peace.
Baptized me in the mud, wish me down, lift me up, miracles on a hush. Cause we about had enough. Notifications for no illustrations be up and rising. Let go of frustrations and all allegations, we all in alarm.